Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Privacy with Suhas. In the previous YouTube video, you would have seen a gist of what exactly this YouTube channel is and why I created this particular YouTube channel. This is going to be the first video in which I'm going to talk about privacy and what are the different types of privacy and why exactly privacy is important for all of us, right? Now, recently we have been hearing a lot about what exactly privacy is, a lot of fuss around, managing of personal data. And especially in India, right, we are actually seeing the introduction of Digital Personal Data Protection Bill. And all of a sudden we are seeing a lot of, platforms, a lot of products which are actually started focusing on the, marketing around data privacy. So for example, if you take Apple, they have a lot of, marketing and advertisements created around, data privacy. If you take social media such as WhatsApp or, if you take Facebook or Instagram, there also you are seeing a lot of words which are, used around data privacy and protection of personal data. Now, this has particularly come at the right time, with the introduction of GDPR, where, in the Europe, a lot of emphasis is placed on protection of personal data. Now, let us look at what exactly privacy means. Now, according to International Association of Privacy Professionals, which is the largest organization which works towards, enhancing the privacy requirements and, rights of digital personal data protection, privacy is the right to be let alone or, freedom from interference or intrusion. Now, when I say right to be let alone, it means that I as an individual have the authority or have the right to make myself, isolated from the in other individuals. So when I say this means that, it can be any kind of, right to be let alone. So for example, I might need a space from a physical space from other individuals, or I might need, a kind of a digital space where others do not intrude with me, right? So all these kind of right to be alone, right to be let alone is what privacy is. Now, privacy is not something which is very new to us. So we have been following privacy right from our childhood and for ages, in fact. So we have seen that, we build houses in order to ensure that we have the privacy around our family. We have our own individual rooms so that, we can focus on what we are doing. And that exactly starts from, the boundaries which we need to establish from our childhood. So this is what privacy is. Now, if we look at types of privacy, there are 4 types of privacy basically: informational privacy, bodily privacy, communication privacy, and territorial privacy. Now, information privacy is basically related to all the digital data which you are uploading on the internet or the network of your choice, right? Now, for example, if you are going to upload any kind of data for enrolling in Instagram, or if you're going to, enroll any kind of upload any data for opening a bank account, right? So you are uploading all this information, keeping in mind a faith towards the company which is going to collect your data. And we also anticipate that the company to which you're uploading this particular data, remains safe, secure, and no other individual has access to this particular data. So for example, if you're opening an online bank account, you don't want any of your friends, colleagues, or for that matter, any third-party vendor to have access to, what kind of salary you're getting, or what kind of balance you're maintaining in your account, or what kind of funds you are actually, moving around. So this is what is informational privacy. The respect for your information in the digital space or, for that matter, even on the offline spaces. Now, bodily privacy is very, very important because we should know what kind of boundaries different individuals have. You would not want any kind of individual to probably come and touch you without your consent, right? And that is what bodily privacy is. And this has been practiced for ages in multiple countries. Yes. And coming to the communication privacy is also very high importance right now, because you are using multiple, chat platforms, or you are using multiple email platforms to exchange, kind of information which you want to exchange with the opposite party. Now, you don't want others in between to, know what you are actually talking to with the opposite party. That is what communication privacy is. If you take a simple example, when you write a letter in the olden ages, right, you always put it in an envelope, right? You don't send it as a postcard. you always put a kind of, an envelope. You stick it with the glue and then you send it across. Why do you do that? That is to ensure that, communication privacy exists. This is what communication privacy is. Now coming to territorial privacy. Territorial privacy is nothing but, establishing physical boundary around you. So you wouldn't want, kind of your office colleagues to enter your home, or you wouldn't want any third party, organizational representatives to enter your home. So that's why you build 4 walls around your home. You ensure that, there is a territorial privacy established, which ensures that the outside world, the people who are not concerned with your personal space, do not enter your premises and do not disturb your peace. And this is what territorial privacy is. Now, coming to data privacy. Data privacy is nothing but informational privacy, and we will be talking about what exactly data is, what exactly personal data is, and how you can protect it. Now, data privacy is specifically related to protection of your personal data. Now, personal data is anything, any data which can actually identify you. Another alternative term often used across regulation is personally identifiable information. So if you look carefully at this particular, word, personally identifiable information, this contains 3 words. Now, personally means something which belongs to you as an individual. Identifiable means something which can lead to your identification, and information means your data, right? So personally identifiable information means any data which can lead to your identification. And this can be anything right from your name to email address, or to, your health records, your government identities, your financial records, your credit information, or for that matter, it can be even your criminal records or location data, and so on and so forth. So one thing to keep in mind is that, a data in itself might not, lead to kind of identification of yourself. But 2 or more data put together can lead to your identification. So for example, if I just take your date of birth, right? Your date of birth might be shared with multiple other people's. However, your date of birth along with email ID combined together will lead to, identification of yourself. And that is what, PII is. So it is not necessarily data which would actually, directly lead to your identification. However, with a combination of other sets of data, it can lead to identification of yourself, and that is what PII is. So PII can be found out in, multiple data sources, such as, it can be on your computer devices, it can be on a cloud network, it can be on mobile phones, or it can be on any kind of physical form which you're filling at the stores, right? So it can reside anywhere. And that is where, it's very challenging to control the kind of, personal data you're giving out, and also the, how exactly organizations you want them to process it. Now, why is data privacy important? Why is there so much, talks about data privacy? Why exactly personal data is being given so much of importance right now? Now, a lot of personal data is existing in digital format, and it is like extremely impossible or extremely difficult to, control the way you're actually, processing personal data in the digital format. And the reason I'm saying this is because till now, in the past, probably around 15-20 years in which you have been feeding data in different digital systems, and you have been sharing data with different organizations, right? Till now, there have been no controls to put in place to ensure that, organizations do not share your data with anyone else, or organizations put across, different security controls to protect your personal data. Right now, your data is in such a way that it is impossible to track down every organization which has your data. And it becomes impossible to file even cases against this organization, because there are like thousands of organizations, and how are you going to exactly track all these data? And that is where, as a starting point, you need to start understanding what data privacy means in a digital age. And you start knowing your rights, you start knowing where exactly you can limit disclosing your personal data. Now, one more thing to understand is, there is lack of awareness about handling of personal data. For example, if an organization comes to you and says that, we do XYZ controls to protect your personal data, but you might not even understand what those XYZ controls are. And that's why it's important to, understand what data privacy is and then build knowledge around it so that you can protect your personal data. Now, often we receive a lot of spam SMSs, junk emails, telling us that we have won $1 million and we need to provide so and so information for us to, get access to that $1 million. All these are nothing but fraudulent activities, right? And in order to understand that such emails or such SMS which you receive or such calls which you receive is a spam or a fraudulent activity, you need to understand what privacy is and what data privacy is, and how organizations ethically process this data, so that you can distinguish two different calls between, one organization calling you with an ethical or an proper intent versus an organization which is calling you to ensure that a fraud is happening. Now, one more very important is avoid being tracked. So in this digital age, you are being tracked in multiple ways, right from simple what do we call right from cookies being tracked on your organization to check what kind of activities you are doing online. From that to probably the car which you're driving, which has connected car technology. So there also you are being tracked, your geolocation is being tracked on a physical basis. So it's extremely important that you understand what kind of tracking you're entering into and whether you actually want to be tracked. If you don't want to be tracked, you should know how exactly you need to avoid it, and that's why it's very important to understand data privacy. Now, companies are utilizing personal data in an illegitimate manner. So, for example, they might have collected data for XYZ, processes, but they might be using your data for analytics purpose or for targeted marketing, or they might be sharing data with companies which you might have not even interacted with. And these all are illegitimate purposes for which companies are actually utilizing your data. And you need to understand how exactly you can avoid this. Now, there is also a risk to life. I mean, this might seem kind of an exaggeration from my side when I say that it can be a risk to life, but believe me, it is not. So we have seen cases in which people who are not able to protect their personal data, and that can actually lead to risk to your life. And that's why it's extremely important to important why data privacy is important, what are your rights, and what kind of measures you can take to ensure that your personal data remains protected in the online as well as offline channels. Now, this comes to the conclusion of our session for today. This was just a very brief video on how exactly you can control your personal data, or what is exactly personal data is, and what data privacy is, and the importance around it. Now, in the successive videos, I'll be talking about the various requirements from data privacy, the principles of data privacy, and what are the mechanisms through which you can exercise various rights. And from an organization perspective, you'll be able to see what kind of controls needs to be put in place in accordance to a law or in accordance to a standard to ensure that data privacy is achieved. And thank you so much for listening to my video patiently, and looking forward to all your comments and feedback. And once again, have a great day. Thank you.